The 401k withdrawal disaster. Dorothy sits across from me in her small apartment, wearing her retail uniform after an 8-hour shift. At 67, she should be enjoying retirement, maybe traveling or spending time with grandchildren. Instead, she's folding clothes at a department store for $12 an hour because of one decision she made 8 years ago. I had $180,000 in my 401k when I was 59, Dorothy says, her voice steady but her eyes showing the weight of regret. I thought I was being smart. I wanted to buy a house, and that money was just sitting there. I figured I'd use it for the down payment and still have plenty left over. What Dorothy didn't understand was how the tax system treats 401k withdrawals. She took out the entire amount at once, thinking she was making a strategic financial move. The reality hit her the following April when she filed her taxes. The tax bill was $54,000. She says, I went from thinking I had $180,000 to realizing I actually had $126,000 after taxes. But that wasn't the end of it. The early withdrawal penalty added another $18,000 to her costs. Dorothy had withdrawn her money before age 59 and a half, triggering the IRS penalty of 10% on the entire amount. Combined with federal income tax at roughly 30% for her bracket and state taxes, she lost $72,000 of her retirement savings to the government. I remember sitting at my kitchen table with the tax forms, and the math just didn't make sense. Dorothy recalls, how could $180,000 become $108,000? I kept rechecking the numbers, but they were right. Dorothy bought her house with the remaining money, but the hidden costs kept coming. Property taxes, maintenance, homeowners insurance, and utilities ate into her budget faster than she anticipated. Without her 401k funds to fall back on, every unexpected expense became a crisis. Social Security on its own replaces only about 40% of pre-retirement income on average, making her lost savings even more devastating. The roof needed repair 3 years after I bought the house. That was $8,000 I didn't have. Then the furnace went out the next winter. Another $4,500. I started using credit cards for these things because I didn't have savings anymore. The compound interest she destroyed haunts her most. Dorothy shows me a calculation her neighbor helped her work out. If she had left that $180,000 in her 401k and continued working until 65, the money would have grown to approximately $285,000. If she had waited until 67, her current age, it would be worth over $350,000. I think about that number every single day, she says, her voice cracking slightly. I could have had $350,000 right now. Instead, I have a house with a mortgage I'm still paying and about $12,000 in my checking account. Dorothy's work schedule reflects her financial reality. She works 32 hours a week at the retail store, standing for most of her shift. Her knees ache, her back hurts, and she takes medication for arthritis that makes the physical demands harder. She never imagined she'd be working in her late 60s. My coworkers are mostly in their 20s and 30s. They're nice to me, but I can see in their eyes that they wonder what I'm doing there. Sometimes I wonder the same thing. The house she bought with her 401k money isn't the dream home she envisioned. It's a modest 3-bedroom ranch that needs constant upkeep. The neighborhood has declined since she moved in, and the property value hasn't increased as much as she hoped. I thought I was investing in my future by buying this house, Dorothy explains. But a house is just a place to live. It's not really an investment unless you're planning to sell it and move somewhere cheaper. And where would I go? Dorothy's biggest regret isn't the house purchase itself, but her complete misunderstanding of how 401k withdrawals work. She thought the money was hers to use however she wanted, like a savings account she had been contributing to for decades. Nobody ever explained to me that taking money out early would cost so much, she says. I knew there would be taxes, but I thought maybe 20%. I had no idea about the penalty or how much the taxes would actually be. The IRS doesn't consider personal circumstances when applying early withdrawal penalties. Dorothy's desire to own a home, her job situation, or her financial needs didn't matter. The rules applied regardless of her reasons or intentions. The penalty is 10% of whatever you take out, period. Dorothy explains, having learned this lesson the expensive way. It doesn't matter if you're buying a house, paying for medical bills, or anything else. The government gets their money first. Dorothy now works until 7 p.m. most weekdays and every other weekend. Her retirement dreams included volunteer work, maybe some travel, and time to pursue hobbies she never had time for during her working years. Instead, she's dealing with difficult customers and learning new computer systems for inventory management. I see people my age coming into the store, shopping with their grandchildren, and I know they're retired, she says. They have that relaxed look about them. They're not watching the clock or worrying about their manager calling them in for extra shifts. The financial statements Dorothy keeps tell the story of her lost opportunity. She can trace exactly how her money would have grown if she had left it alone. The compound interest would have added thousands of dollars every year, money that would be working for her now instead of her working for money. I understand now that your 401k isn't money you have, Dorothy says, looking directly at the camera. It's money you're saving for later. When you take it out early, you're not just losing that money. You're losing all the money it would have become. Dorothy's story demonstrates how one financial decision can reshape an entire retirement. Her dream of homeownership became reality, but at a cost that continues to affect her daily life 8 years later. Yet her situation could be worse. At least she has some income from work to supplement what little she receives each month. When